Let's take a look around the fruit garden and see what's new, what's going on here, what's fruiting. These two big mango trees in the front here. Got an avocado tree, no flowers on it. I'm not sure if it's going to fruit this year. A big avocado, I'm not sure what variety it is. This is a Nam Dak Mai mango from Thailand. This one is called the Lancetia. It's from Honduras mango. They're very common down here. Lancetia, Nam Dak Mai are two common varieties you find in, Home Depot or Lowe's. Pine Island turns out a lot of them, grafts a lot of them. This is a Persian lime, and I'm going to graft. I'm going to graft some key lime scions onto this, probably this weekend, because now's the time to kind of do that. So I'll have Persian and key lime on one tree. Those are the two citrus that you get away with down here. The rest of the ones get beaten up by either by different types of weevil bugs or by diseases like canker or greening. That's a passion fruit. That's going to be a big vine. I'm eventually going to make a trellis around this door here, like a trellis out of just wire fencing, so the passion fruit can grow over it. So when you open the gate, you walk through, the passion fruit trellis, because passion fruit, very large vine, covers a lot. Same thing with this passion fruit. It's going to cover this whole trellis and probably the other side of this whole chain link fence. Passion fruit's nuts. It covers a lot. I have a pot here that I'm drilling a hole in. That's a heavy container, but it needs a drain hole. I'm going to put a lychee tree in it. I'm going to put that probably over here in this corner, have a little lychee tree. And keep it pruned to maybe 10 feet so you can walk under it. That's what this is over here. This is another lychee tree. And that's growing in the ground. Even though it's in a pot, there's no bottom to that pot. It's just there to protect it and to give it a little mound so it doesn't get wet feet. That's a sweetheart lychee. And this concrete container I bought here, I'm going to throw another variety of lychee in, so I'll have 3 varieties of lychee. One in the corner there, one right there, and one right here, so they can cross-pollinate each other. Those are dragon fruit. I got to build a trellis for the dragon fruit, because it's not going to grow up that tree. They're just kind of hanging out. You can see how they're kind of splitting and budding out and wanting to grow up, because they're not tied to a post or something where they can grow vertical like they want to. I have to do that too. A lot of things, a lot of projects. Let's see what we have back here. See how planted my ice cream banana in the ground here by the compost bin where it wants to be. Bananas love a lot of their heavy feeders. This is a Carambola. It's called Kari Carambola, Kari. And it's the sweetest starfruit Carambola. A lot of people, when they grow these trees, they just let them grow big and out. And they will get big and bushy, and they'll produce a lot of fruit. But to be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of the fruit. I can eat a few of them maybe. It's not like mangoes where I can just eat them every day. So when I grow this tree, I'm going to trim it and keep it smaller and ornamental, because it's a very pretty ornamental tree. And when you let it get big and bushy, you kind of lose the wispy nature of it, as opposed to when you keep it hard pruned and kind of shorter, like an ornamental tree. That's a Kari mango, Carrie mango, that I grafted about a year ago, and it's doing very well. It had a bloom panicle on it, but I picked it off because I wanted to root this year. No mangoes when they're that small, but they want to fruit. They're very prolific and they're very eager to fruit. Same thing with this. I had a bloom panicle on it, and I pulled it off. That's an ice cream mango. And again, that pot has no bottom to it, so mangoes have a tap root. It's going to go right into the water table, which isn't too far. You can see the river here. So yeah, I have ice cream and I have Kari mango, and those are on both sides of the dock there. All these are pineapples. I have about 20 of them. They're about a year old. They'll probably bloom. They'll probably fruit this year. And then after they fruit, they give out like 3 or 4 pups around them. And that's when they start getting established. The first year of growing pineapple from pineapple tops, they kind of look weird. But then after they get established and they pup out, then they start getting like looking like structured plants, like symmetrical plants when they grow. This is another fruit. It's called Monstera delicosa. Most people don't eat the fruit, but it makes a fruit. It's good too, but you have to eat it when it's really ripe, or else it'll make your throat close up because it has the acid in it. But you can tell when it's really ripe, and it tastes like it's a big bloom panicle that you eat, and it tastes almost like a pineapple banana, like creamy, like a banana, but it's like pineapple-y, like it has acid in it, and sour and sweet. It's really good, actually. Monstera delicosa, that's called. This is a green sapote, which is similar to mamey sapote. They sometimes call it baby mamey, and they believe it's a hybrid of a sapodilla and a mamey because it makes a round fruit like a sapodilla. But it tastes like cooked carrots or pumpkin pie. It's really good in this smoothie. Like, you can just take the fruit and take the pit out, scoop it out and eat it like that, or you can just throw it in a blender and make a smoothie, maybe with a little bit of, doesn't even need anything because it's sweet usually if you get a good variety. But they make amazing smoothies. They taste like pumpkin pie smoothies. Mamey and green sapote. That's a grafted jackfruit tree. That's called orange crush jackfruit, that variety. And jackfruit can be a very tall tree, but the trick with growing jackfruit in the backyard here is you want to keep it topped to about 15 to 20 feet. They'll grow to 50 feet if you just keep on letting them grow. I've seen huge jackfruit trees out in the orchard. We have a few out in the co-op. We have a lot, and they're beautiful trees when they get big. See these big green leaves? It grows symmetrical like a Christmas tree. But when you grow it in your backyard and you want to harvest fruit, the thing with the jackfruit is it can fruit right off the stalk here. So the trick is what you do when this grows up, I'm going to top it at about 15 or 20 feet. And I'm going to keep the lower branches at about my shoulder length. And anything below that, I'm going to keep a clean trunk. And so this way when if I get any blooms on the tree, because it has a big flower, and then the flower turns into fruits. And the fruits can be very heavy. 30, 40 pound fruits, jackfruit. So if you have a small tree that's 20 feet, you don't want that heavy fruit on top of the tree because the tree's going to do one of these, right? So whenever you have blooms, you just pick them off on the top of the tree. That's why you keep it reachable. You keep it 20 feet, you can get it on the top of the ladder. And this way there's no fruit on the top. You want to keep the fruit around shoulder length, around head length, around nose length. This way when you walk by the tree, you could smell the fruit, see when it's ripe, you can easily grab it. It's not too low where an animal can grab it, and it's not too high where it's going to affect the tree. So you can force it to fruit where you want it to fruit. And that's very important when you have a small dooryard jackfruit tree, as opposed to like a big wild tree in the wild where the fruit just grow all over it and the tree just gets huge. I want to keep this manageable and topped. I don't want to keep it too big. I don't want it to break from the wind or anything like that. I want to keep it about 20 feet and managed. So that's the jackfruit. And same thing with this green sapote. It's going to be a big tree, but we're going to keep it about 20 feet. Let's see what else. See back here. That's more of that Monstera delicosa. It's a philodendron that fruits. This is a dwarf Hawaiian mango. And it stays very small. You don't even have to prune this tree. It'll stay dwarf. It'll stay about 10 feet for most of it, for about until it gets really old, and then it may get bigger. That's a guanabana or sour sop. In Brazil they call it graviola. It's like a big green spiky fruit. It's very good. This is another fruit you can just, again, peel the seeds out and scoop the pulp out and throw it right into a blender and make a shake or out of it just by itself, and it's good. It's just good. It's such a unique flavor. I don't even want to try to describe it, but it's like perfect sour, acid, sweet. I just eat the fruit. I don't even make a shake, but the shake's even better. It's another mango I have. That's a Juliet mango, which is a seedling of Julie. It's supposed to taste like Julie, but Julie doesn't do too well down here. Julie is a mango that's from Trinidad, very popular in Jamaica. West Indians love it. It has a West Indian flavor, a spicy flavor, a coconut aftertaste, and it's very unique. It almost has a flavor of like raisins in it too. It's a very unique flavor that people who have grown up with it in the West Indies and in Trinidad and Jamaica, they love it. So there's no other mango like it. But this mango is a seedling of Julie. It's a Juliet. And they love it just as much because it tastes very similar. But the tree grows better down here. It's more vigorous, where Julie was a very dwarf tree. Julie is very susceptible to anthracnose, which is a black bacterial that affects the fruit and makes the fruit drop. So you get very limited amount of fruit. Whereas this seedling of Juliet, they call it, isn't susceptible to that at all. So it's a superior Julie variety for South Florida. And that's a new variety, so got that in the ground. That'll give us fruit in a few years. That's another one that had a fruit panicle on it that I had to pull off because I wanted to root. So back here, see all these this is a honey kiss mango. That's another new variety by Zill. And this is an orange sherbet mango. And this tree is 3 years old, so it's going to root this year, and the next year it should give us some fruit. We should get a few fruit of this by next year off of this tree. The other trees, maybe not. Maybe one or a few of the others. So I'm going to let them grow. But orange sherbet is supposed to be, is the hardest mango to get. I mean, it's a new variety by Zill. It came out a few years ago. I tasted the fruit twice. Whenever you see the fruit at the market, it's very expensive. It's a higher priced mango. It's a premium priced mango. They usually get $1 more per pound or whatever, or $2 more per pound, and they sell out faster. They're harder to find, and they're delicious. This orange sherbet tastes like orange candy. I mean, it's just an amazing mango, and the trees are very difficult to find. That's why I had to graft it a few years ago, and I kept it in the greenhouse at the co-op, and now it's going in the ground here. Let's see what else. Those are my orchids. Got a lot of orchids and plants. That alocasia right there is called Alocasia amazonica or Alocasia poly, sometimes known as African mask. It's a jewel. It's a small alocasia. It's, it takes a little more care. Not like the other elephant ear alocasias. This is called a Barbados Cherry or acerola. I have it growing in a pot here. I bought this recently. Actually, it's a big tree and it's flowering. I used to have one of these, and it's a pretty tree. If the flowers are beautiful on it. See, look, it's flowering already. Let's see here. And this tree will get loaded with flowers, and those little flowers turn into little red cherries called Barbados cherries. And they're about, I think they have 5 times as much vitamin C in one little cherry as a whole orange. They're loaded with vitamin C, so they're very sour and tangy, but they're not astringent. They're not like they're a little sweet too, but they're sour. But they don't have a tannin flavor or an astringent like some of the Suriname cherries have. Some of the other cherries from the areas have a little off flavor to me. Some people like that flavor. I don't. So the ones I grow are normally just sweet and sour, and they don't have that astringent flavor or the tannin flavor that comes from certain trees, certain fruits. If you tasted tannin before, you know what it is. But some people get used to it and like it in certain varieties. And this is another little fruiting tree from Brazil. It's called Jaboticaba. There are a lot of varieties in Brazil, but they're hard to find the different varieties. The one they grow here is called Sabra. This is the one you find in most nurseries. And it's califerous. Syzygium califera. Califerous means the fruit come off the trunk here, off the old wood trunk. It'll just have a little white flower that comes out, and then it'll be like a little grapefruit A little grape it'll look like, and you just pull it off the tree and eat it. And it tastes similar to a grape. Like, it has a hard skin, but it has a creamier, different, exotic fruit flavor that I wouldn't call grape flavor. I would just call its own unique flavor. It's very nice. They make jams and jellies and wines out of it. When these trees get big, they get loaded with fruit. The whole tree gets covered in those little grapes, it looks like. But they're a hardwood tree. They're slow growing. So this one's going to be in a pot for a while, and it's going to be very ornamental. See, I keep it clean. I keep the trunk, took all the branches off the trunk. They grow kind of crazy. Like, they'll want to grow like bushy and like a lot of little small stems instead of a main trunk. But they're popular for bonsai, so you can train them to grow any way you want. They're very trainable. In fact, I'm training it kind of here at the wire. See how I have the wire here? So I'm training the branch to go in the direction I want. And eventually, when the branches, when this branch gets thicker, this little end I cut off, these little ends I cut off here will just become one branch. And I cut off those ends because they were thick branches that I couldn't train, that were already growing in like a bad direction, too close to the trunk. I wanted a clean trunk. So I cut them off, and I kept the biggest branch I could, and I'm going to train the branch to take it over. And that's going to become like a multi-trunk tree when it grows. It's a little bonsai technique. There's some orchids here. Philodendron. This is pink Barbie Guava tree. That's doing nice. It'll get a little bit of sun from this direction here. So it'll probably grow out this way. The branches will grow out towards the sun here. So it'll get semi-shade, semi-sun, which is fine. Most plants down here like that, actually, as opposed to full sun. Full sun can be brutal on most trees. If you have just I've seen a lot of these trees grow out in orchards that are just, fields, and they get full sun all day, and they don't look as healthy as when they get filtered, shade in a garden like this. Some species like it, but like lychee like full sun. You can't grow lychee in shade, but a mango tree you can grow in shade. They're kind of vigorous growers, and they'll find the filtered light spots, and they'll find the canopy where they get enough sunlight and be happy. The leaves kind of adapt to different types of sunlight. So yeah, I gotta get a few more lychee trees. Get that lychee garden going.